What is up everyone, this is Somnath Gaudar from Future Coders. In this video tutorial, you are going to learn how to build this random user generator using HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Let's have a look at the functionality of this app. As you can see, we have this current user, his name is this, and it also has some information about him like email, phone number and his location. So when I click on new user, it's going to generate a new user over here. As you can see, if I click on it again, as you can see, new user again. If I click on it again, so guys, this is what we are going to be building in this video. So there are other things that you are going to learn in this video, like the first thing, that is how to make this design using HTML and CSS. Next, you are going to learn how to import these icons, guys. As you can see, these icons are actually coming straight from the Google font icons. You are going to learn about those also. And next thing, and the final thing, that is JavaScript, guys. The data that you are seeing over here is actually coming from an API called random user. This data I am fetching it from there. So you are going to learn how to fetch data from an API and bring that information in your website. So guys, this is what you are going to learn in this video. And also I forgot to mention that you will also learn many things like flexbox, how to position elements, how to add this cool hover effect, how to add this background image, and mainly the main focus of this app is the API, guys, fetching data from an API. So you are going to learn about those also. So before we start building this, please make sure you subscribe to our channel. I upload projects on JavaScript, HTML, CSS, and I will also be launching some courses regarding web development and programming languages. So please make sure you subscribe to our channel and also don't forget to leave a like on this video. So let's get started building this. As you all know that we are going to need three files: index.html, styles.css, script.js. So I have added the title as random user generator, as you can see, and also I have linked my local CSS file, also the script.js file. Make sure you do that. So first things first, let's import all the necessary things that I need. The first thing that I am going to import is Google font icons. The icons that you were seeing on the app were actually coming from over here. So let's make this a little bit bigger. So that is fonts.google.com/icons. So as you can see, Google is providing all of these icons which we can use in our app. So let's head over to developer guide. We need to actually get the import code. Once we include that, we can use those icons. That's it. This one is the import code. Let's copy this and you can close this now. Okay, all you have to do is paste it over here inside the head tag. Now you are ready to use the icons. Make sure you tick the filled version and search for any icons that you need. Now is not the time. Let's import the further things. One more thing which I will be using is a custom font that is from the Google fonts only Google fonts, right? Not Google font icons. Over here I will be importing the font called as Open Sans, this one. Let's import the light 300. Let's close this for now. Regular 400, medium 500, semi bold 600 and bold 700. Once you select those, click over here and go to import. There you are going to see the import code. Make sure you copy this one between the style. Let's copy this and paste it inside the CSS file. And I can close this for now. Okay, now let's head to the, remember guys, I actually mentioned about an API, right? That is, I'm going to give an overview about that. Head over to randomuser.me, that is this one. Okay, this actually gives an open source API which we can use to generate a random user. So we don't have to do create any account or anything. All I have to do is get this URL and send a request to this URL from my app. Let me give a demonstration. Copy this and paste it inside the. By default, our browser actually sends a GET request. Once I send the GET request, as you can see, the API actually gives some results. As you can see, gender female, name name title first. As you can see, this is the data which we are going to get from the API. And once I refresh, as you can see, the data is actually changing. It's gonna generate a random user every time I refresh, every time I send a request. That's it. Okay, we are going to use this API. For now, let's concentrate on HTML. Let's start by building the HTML. First, we will complete the design part, then we will move on to JavaScript. So inside the body, let's start creating it. I'll be creating a div with the class name of user profile. This is the main div which is going to contain all of the information, all of the things, guys. Okay, inside the user profile, I'm going to divide the app into two parts. One is profile top, where it's going to contain the image and the name, gender, and at the profile bottom we are going to have the email, phone number, and his location. That's it. Let's head over here. img. For now, I'm going to use the image, a random user guy image, that is this one. Don't worry, you can use any image. Don't worry, I'll be fetching data from over here. For now, let's for randomly what we can say. For now, let's use this image. Later I'm going to remove that, don't worry about that. As you can see, there we have our image. Okay, that's it. Let's set it to 90% only. Okay, once the image is in this place, we are going to create inside the, okay, sorry, actually said I need to divide it into two parts, right? So let's divide it. Profile top. Inside the profile top only we are going to have this image. Okay, now right after the image we are going to create another div with class name of profile info. Inside over here we are going to have a span with an ID of name. Remember guys, this ID actually I am giving so that I can actually access this element using JavaScript later on. So you will come to know, don't worry about that. Okay, name. Currently I am filling the app with dummy data, guys. Later I will fetch the data from API and I will put the name over here. And next we are going to have another span tag with an ID where we are going to show the gender, right? So this is going to have an ID of gender. Okay, that's it for the profile top. Once we are done with the profile top, let's head over to profile bottom, guys. Let's create the div profile bottom. Inside the profile bottom we are going to have the profile info. Inside the profile info we are actually going to use the icons, guys. First one is the mail icon. Let's search for that. The icon name will be email. Make sure you set this one, guys, field. Okay, I am going to use this icon. Let's click on that, and all I have to do is copy this tag, copy this and paste it over here. Let's see, there we have our icon, guys. Okay, next thing, we are going to have a span tag with an ID of email. This is where we are going to show the fetched email. Okay, here I will just fill it with the dummy data, that is email. And similarly I am going to have, and there are two more. This one is going to be for phone, and the last one is going to be for the country, that's, or you can say location, guys. And the ID is also going to say location for the last one, and phone for the phone, the ID, guys. And we also need to change the icon, guys. So let's search for the call icon. There we have it, the call icon. Let's copy this tag and replace it with over here. Okay, let's save. Actually, I'm using extensions called as prettier. You can head over to this extension marketplace and search for prettier. That is a code formatter. If I do like this and once I save it, as you can see, it's automatically going to reformat my code. This one, that's going to be this one. Okay, one more extension which I'm using is live server. That's going to be this one. That is how the website is actually running over here using live server. Every time I save my file, it's automatically going to refresh and update over here. So that's it. Okay, back to our app. So yes, we also going to need the country icon, right? Location icon. We'll search for that also. This one. Let's copy the code, paste it over here. Okay, now we have all the icons that are required, and we are also done with the profile bottom, guys. And the last thing that is we are going to need the button, right? So here I will say button. The button is going to say new user. That's it, guys. That's it for the HTML part. Okay, now it's time for the CSS file, guys. And before that, I also need an image file to set it as background. Let's bring the image over here. Don't worry, you are going to get this image from the link in the description, guys, or you can use your own image, but either way you are going to get this image, guys. Don't worry about that. Okay, let's head over to our styles or CSS file. Already we have imported the Open Sans for custom font. Okay, here by default our browser applies some default padding and margin, right? So we need to set that to 0, margin to 0, padding to 0, and box sizing to border box. Okay, that will reset everything. So here let's start with the body tag, guys. For the body, I'm going to set the height as 100 view heights, display of flex, display of flex. By default they are going to come in a row. I don't want that, so I will change the flex direction to column. Okay, and now align items to the center so that everything aligns to the center. Let's also set the font family which we imported, that is Open Sans, and the fallback font of sans serif. There we have our font being applied. If I comment out this, as you can see, this is the default font and this is my font, Open Sans. Now let's set the image by using background URL. The URL is going to be the bg.jpg. There we have our image, guys. So for the background, I'm going to set the background size as cover and background repeat to no repeat so that it doesn't repeat. Background repeat to no repeat. Okay, that's it for the body. Now we also need the image, the background image, to turn to little dark, right? Actually it is brighter, so I can do that by using a pseudo class on before, so that is before on body. Here I will say content to nothing, position is going to be absolute, top 0. This is going to bring an I'm making an overlay, guys. Left 0, you will come to know, right 0, and bottom to 0. Background color is going to be black and an opacity of 0.7. If I save it, as you can see, we have actually created an overlay, but it is actually appearing on my content also. For that, I actually need to set the z index to -1. That will fix it. Okay, there we have it. And now we are done with the complete body tag, guys. So let's target the main area, guys, that is user profile, that is containing the profile top as well as the profile bottom. So let's work on that. So for the profile, user profile, let's set the background color as a grayish, that is DC, that is an hex code, and I will add the margin to the top 6% so that it is always to the 6%, no matter the screen size, guys. Even if the screen size is smaller, it's always going to be 6% from the top. Okay, now here I will also set the width, guys, width to 100%, as you can see, but I don't want it to grow more than like max width. By setting the max width as 400 pixels, I don't want to grow bigger than that. But if I reduce the size, not this one, if I reduce the size, as you can see, okay, to demonstrate that, okay, as you can see, the width is 100%, guys, but it is not growing, guys, right? It's actually 400 pixels. Maximum width is actually 400 pixels, guys. Okay, now let's set the border radius of 1 rem to have some rounded corners, but here it is not actually being applied. For that, I need to set it as overflow hidden. Okay, there we have it. Now let's set the box shadow to RGBA 0, 0, 0 and alpha value 0.4, 0 pixels, 30 pixels and 90 pixels. Okay, that's very little subtle box shadow. That's it for the user profile. Now let's work on the user profile top, that is which is containing the image and the user profile info. So here I will say the profile top background linear gradient to right. Actually, I will be using the linear gradient from right. We'll start from the right. For the right color is going to be 8E to DE2, and from the right it's going to be to the left, and here I will say 4A E0. Okay, as you can see, there we have our gradient being applied, and I will add the padding. 1 rem padding is actually space inside, guys. Margin is space outside. Okay, text align to the center, and color of the text to white. That's it. Now let's actually target the image that is inside the profile top, and for the image I will set the border radius to 50% to make it completely round, as you can see, and border 5 pixels solid white. That's it. I think the image is actually a very small one. Let's change that. Why is it very small, guys? Let's see by changing this. Okay, let's change it over here. Let's make this 64. I think all of these images are actually small. Okay, that there we have it. 64.jpg, that is also coming small, guys. Why is this happening to me? Okay, actually I think using the smaller version, I think I should be using, here we go, we are actually using the smallest version, guys. The API is actually providing different versions of these images also. So I will use I will just say here, let's remove this thumb. Okay, there we have it. Okay, you don't have to worry about that. You can use any image, guys. You don't have to worry about this. Is actually problem with me. Actually, the API was actually providing more versions of the images. Don't worry about that. Okay, now we have fixed the issue. Let's move on. Okay, once we are done with the image, guys, let's select the profile info, guys. That is inside. Remember, guys, we actually also gave the same class name over here also. So we need to be very careful in selecting that. First, we need to select the profile top, and then we have to select the profile info. For this, first we have to select the profile bottom, and then we need to select the profile info. That's it. Okay, now inside the profile top, and I need to select the profile info. Profile top and profile info. So here I will say margin to the top of 1 rem. Okay, so that we add some space between over here. Now let's select the profile bottom, guys. For the profile bottom, I'm going to add a padding 3 rem top. Okay, let's close this. Sorry for this. Okay, 3 rem top right, bottom left, I think. Sorry, top right, bottom is going to be only 1 rem. That's it. Now inside the profile bottom, as I said, inside the profile bottom we are going to select the profile info, guys. Now, okay, here I will say profile bottom, profile info. For that, I'm going to set the background color as white, padding inside 1 rem, margin to the bottom 2 rem, and let's set the border radius of 1 rem, display of flex, align items to the center, and let's add the box shadow, guys. This box shadow value is actually big, guys, so let's bear with me. 50, 93, and the alpha value is 0.25, 0 pixels, 13 pixels, 27 pixels, minus 5 pixels, and one more RGBA value of 0, 0, 0, and the alpha value 0.3, and here 0 pixels, 8 pixels, 16 pixels, minus 8 pixels. Okay, there we have our font, box shadow. Now the next thing is, let's add the transition of 0.5. For now, let's not add the transition, guys. I will show you what happens if I don't add that. So here, let's also select the material icons, guys. The icons, guys. Icons are actually having class name of material icons. I want them to be gray, right? So here I will say in the profile bottom, in the profile info, the material icons. For those, I will set the let's add some margin to the right of 0.5 rem, and then I will also add a color of gray. That's it. Okay, now let's add some hover functionality to the profile info, guys. The hover functionality here, when I hover on the profile info, we need to add a box shadow of RGBA 60, 64, 67, and 0.3. Okay, sorry for this, I actually need to delete these. Okay, R value, G value, B, and this one is alpha value. Here I will also say 0 pixels, 1 pixels, 2 pixels, 0 pixels, and here I will also add an RGBA value of 60, 64, 67, 0.15. Again, I need to remove these. Okay, and again 0 pixels, 1 pixels, 3 pixels, 1 pixels, guys. Okay, as you can see, when I hover on it, as you can see, the hover effect is actually working, guys. But as you can see, it's actually not looking nice because it's actually happening faster. For that, I need to add a transition, guys. Remember, a transition is going to make everything happen smoothly. Here I will say transition 0.5 seconds is. Now observe, guys. As you can see, it's happening very smoothly, right? Very slowly, and it looks actually nice. Okay, now we are done with the profile section. Now let's work on the button, guys. For the button, margin to the top of 2 rem, outline none, border none. Let's also add a padding of 1 rem, border radius of 1 rem, cursor to the pointer. Okay, as you can see, I am also going to add a box shadow, guys, over here. The box shadow is going to be same as which we added. Where is it? Okay, where we added this one, this box shadow inside the profile. For the profile bottom and profile info which we added, for the button it's also going to be the same for box shadow. And here I will also add a transition effect, guys, so that everything happens smoothly. Here I will be adding a hover effect, right? So it should happen very smoothly. That's it. Now let's add a button hover effect. And the button hover effect, when I hover on it, the background is going to change to linear gradient to right. It's going to be this color, and to the left it's going to be this one. As you can see, when I hover on it, the color is going to change, and also I need to change the color value, the text color, to white. As you can see, it's happening very smoothly, and we are done with actually the front end, guys. Now we need to actually work on the JavaScript part, where we need to send request to this, send get request to these, and fetch these data from here and use it to display name over here, gender over here, and other information, guys. So here I will just copy this inside the script. Make sure you also have linked the local CSS file, guys. Sorry, script file. So here inside the script.js file, let's write a function to fetch the data from this API. Here I will say async function. This is going to be an asynchronous function. That's because fetching data from an API actually takes more time, guys. So we need to use asynchronous function to do fetching. Okay, here I will say get random user. Inside this function I will say a const response. The response which is provided by the API will be stored over here. Now we need to actually await for the fetch. Okay, let me tell you what happens over here. The fetch actually fetches the data from over here and awaits for the result. Once the result has come and it is successful to connecting to this API, it will store the response over here. Let me show you what actually is in the response by console logging response. And for that I need to call this get random user function. Let's call that. Okay, now inside our browser console, let's check that. Let's bring this down over here. Okay, as you can see, we have actually got a response from the random user API, but this data we actually are not understanding, right? So the next step I need to do over here is, let's close this for now. Let's actually make it over here so that you can see the data. Okay, here instead of directly accessing the response, I need to convert it to JSON. So here I will have one more variable which is going to await to convert the response to JSON. We are converting the response to JSON, guys. So here I'll just console log the data and show you. As you can see, we have got some results. So this is going to be the info. This is the result which we got, guys. So here I will show you the result. As you can see, we have got the email, the gender, the name value, guys. As you can see, the name value is actually null over here. Don't worry about that. We actually got the location. As you can see, the API provides more information, guys, but we will be using the country, the gender, email, and the name, guys, and the phone number. We will also be using the phone number. If you want to practice more, you can play around with this data and try to use or bring this inside the app. So let's work on that. Here I will say I'll create one more variable, user. So guys, I don't want all of this data, right? All of this data actually I need, as you can see, inside the data and inside the results, it is actually having an array, guys. As you can see, the index 0, I want this data. So here I will say data, this data. Inside that data, I'll go to the results. That's going to be over here, this one. I will, inside that, I want to select the first element, that is the 0th at the 0th index, and here I will say user. We're actually having cannot read properties undefined reading 0. Okay, I actually made some mistake. Results. Okay, as you can see, we are getting directly the results, guys. As you can see, the information which we need. And inside this, let's create one more function which is going to display all this data in our app, guys. To do that, first thing I need to create one more function, that is function display user, which is going to accept an user object which we are going to pass from over here. We are going to call this function display user, and we are going to pass this object, that is our result, inside over here. We are actually, the data which we saw here, we are actually passing that data inside the display user function. Now I can access that to show inside our app. To do that, first thing I need to have access to all of these elements, right? Remember, I gave them an ID, right? Using that ID, I can grab the elements from there. Here I will say first I will grab the name, const name, and here I will say document dot get element by ID, and remember I gave an ID of, sorry, here I need to say const. Okay, remember I gave an ID, right? The name. We actually got access to this element, guys. Okay, similarly I also want to do the same for gender. Over here, gender. Okay, similarly for the email, and phone, and for the location, we actually gave them IDs, right guys? So we are actually accessing those elements so that we can display our data inside that element. And finally, for the image, did we give an ID for the image, guys? I don't think so. So here I will say an ID of image. Okay, that's it. Then we have access to all of the elements. So the last thing which I need to do is, here I will say inside the name, I want to display the username, right? So here I will say inner text, and here I will open these quotes, not single quotes. These are actually called the backticks. Okay, inside this I need to actually for that, to make you understand better, here I will say console log the user. First thing, I want to display the user, right? Name. Okay, here I can get the name value over here. As you can see, let's fetch another data. As you can see, the name is let's see, okay, here that's going to be this one, not that one, that's something else. Here I will say name. Inside the name, inside the user, actually we are console logging the user, right? Inside the user we have an object called as name. Inside the name we have first, last, and the title. I want the name to display as Miss Diana Richards, right? Title, first name, and last name. So in order to do that, I'll open the dollar, and here I actually can use the variable, guys. Here I will say user. Inside the user we are actually getting this passing the data from over here, and we are accepting the data over here. So we have access to that data. Inside the user, as I said, there is a name, this name. Inside that we have the title. Okay, now a space and one more variable. Now we are done with the title. Now let's work on the first, displaying the first. Again, user dot inside the name we have the first, right? And again, for the last name, same thing, user dot name dot last. Let's save this and see. As you can see, now we have access to that name. Actually we don't have access to the gender, don't worry about that, we'll have access. As you can see, the name is actually displaying, right? If I refresh, as you can see, the name is actually changing, right? That's the name is actually generating randomly, guys. As you can see, that's how it works. Similarly, let's do for the gender dot inner text, again backticks. Let's open those brackets. Here I will say user. So actually it's inside the gender, right? This is the user object, and here I need to search for the gender. As you can see, it's actually available in the first page only, right? In the gender, let's user dot gender. It's actually directly available in the user object. Okay, as you can see, don't worry, the image will do that. Okay, as you can see, the name and gender. Now for the email dot inner text, let's do for all of these. So backticks user dot email, right? As you can see, now we have access to the email also. Actually it is not responsive, guys. As you can see, the email said, don't worry about that. The main thing we need to focus over on here is the fetching the data from the API. You don't have to worry about that. I can actually teach you how to make this website responsive. Actually have more and more tutorials on these, how to make. I have actually uploaded like 3 to 4 tutorials on how to build responsive websites. Okay, here for the email, as you can see, user dot email, right? That's what we are accessing. And next, let's access the phone dot inner text, and for that here I will say user dot phone. That's it. Now we are did I actually broke something? Okay, we actually missed the backticks. As you can see, now we have access to the phone also. The last thing is not the last thing, the image is the last thing. Here I'll say location dot inner text backticks dollar brackets user dot. For the location, guys, again, as you can see, we have a location object, and inside that we have so many information, guys. Like that we have a city, we actually have coordinates. Inside that we have latitude, longitude, the country. We are actually going to use the country, right? Location dot country. Here I will say location dot country. Okay, there we have the access. Okay, now the final thing, guys, image. For the image, I need to set the attribute, right? Images have a source attribute, right? I need to change this source attribute. For now, let's delete this and save this. As you can see, the image is gone, right? Here I will say image set attribute, and we are going to set the attribute called as source. And here I can actually specify the URL from the API, guys. Here I'll say user dot picture, and actually going to use the large image. If I show you that, as you can see, picture large, this is the URL for the large image, medium, thumbnail, guys. Okay, if I save that, as you can see, we have the image also, guys. Okay, that's it, guys. This is how we can fetch data from an API and display inside our app. Now the most final thing and the easiest thing, guys, that is working of this new user button. If I click on it, it should generate a new user, right? How am I gonna do that? It's very simple, guys. Try to pause the video and comment. There are two ways I can do that. I can grab access to the button from inside the JavaScript file, or else I will say here on click, and when I click on that button, I'll simply call the get random user function. That's it. Now if I click on this button, as you can see, it's generating the random user, guys. I know this video actually got way more lengthier. It's okay. We actually learned how to use the API, guys. So guys, that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed and hope you guys learned something from this video. Please make sure you hit that like button. If you want more API tutorials, make sure you comment saying that you want more tutorial like this. So that's it, guys. Like the button and hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.